Hey guys, just a quick one here today. Hopefully you can see what's on screen here. If you have your PC, it's probably easier to see, but if you're on your phone, maybe you need a magnifying glass or something. But at any rate, I wanted to point out a couple of things because I got a couple of questions today, and there was that deal with Williams' roster going below 12 players. That was not intentional. I thought I had the settings as such that you couldn't do that, but I realized my mistake on that one. I hadn't clicked a couple of boxes. I'll just show you really quick here on League Setup. Let's go to rosters. Site's kind of weird when you're recording at the same time you're using it. It gets a little glitchy if you notice those lines going on. But at any rate, I only had this box here at 12 players as a total roster size. And I thought that was enough because if you look down here, it says prevent any transaction that would cause a roster to become illegal. And I had it set to always, thinking then that if I had that set to 12, it didn't matter if this was zero. It would always just, say you can't have less than 12 players in your roster size. But that didn't happen. William was able to go below 12. I got in touch with him right away, and he said he had claims in on 4 players. I don't think he knew about this new thing I talked about recently where I allow you guys to extend your salary cap on a given transaction day if you want to pick up a player and you need to waive multiple players in order to do so. The reason I also did that was because the system, Fantrax system, does not allow for multiple waivers contingent on signing a player. So an example would be you want to sign a guy for 40 million, but you don't have anybody that makes 40 million to offset that salary. And let's say you don't have any money in the bank, just for simplicity's sake. You would need to waive multiple players, but maybe you don't want to risk losing these guys because as soon as you waive somebody, he goes on the free agent market and somebody can make a claim. So in this case, I am allowing you guys to just contact me and say, maybe you got a guy that's worth 20 and you want to sign a guy worth 40. And this isn't going to cause you to go below 12, by the way. If you, like, say, waived 3 guys for that one guy, you're still going to be at 12 or above, but you can't make up that whole 40 million with one waiver. You could just ask me and I'll say, okay, I can extend your cap by however much necessary you need it to be to make that happen. So in this case, it'd be like that $20 million player. You set him up as a contingent waiver upon signing the $40 million player. And then you would ask for a cap raise of 20 million, which would be only for that day. If you're successful in getting that free agent you wanted at 40 million and you drop the guy at 20, it doesn't matter who you drop, you just drop somebody. You would then, by the end of the day, have to waive enough players to get back at the cap or below it. And hopefully that'll make sense. So I had the settings to 12 minimum on the roster size. I thought that was enough. Apparently it wasn't. So I just set this to here. And just to test it out, I went into the Knicks because that's one of the teams, my team, and I'm running the orphan team right now, the Knicks. And I went to their roster because, see, the site's acting weird when I do that. I went to the Knicks because they only have 12 players and it would be an easy deal. I just decided I'm going to try to waive somebody for the Knicks. And so let's do it again. Anthony Davis, let's just put him up on waivers here. Submit, drop, submit. And now I'm getting this message saying, sorry, but you're unable to perform that operation. You cannot make that change because it will cause your team to have an illegal roster. So there you have it. It's fixed. I didn't realize I had to tick both of those boxes. So that is fixed. Let's get back over to the main page and I will show you one more thing before I go. I had a question from Kagan today about when I mentioned that there's a transaction deadline today at 3:00 Pacific time. He was confused, thinking maybe that was the last transaction day of the season. This is not the case. The trade deadline is the 26th of January. Our season ends in early to mid-February. That's kind of a late trade deadline, but because of the salary cap, I feel like people can't really take advantage of that. But if it is a problem this year, then we'll deal with it. We could always vote on trades at the end if there's something questionable. And if that is something that somebody attempts to do, it looks kind of unfair, then we'll just readjust the trade deadline to earlier next year, maybe move it up to the beginning of January, something like that. So it's far enough away from our playoffs. I don't know if you know this, but our playoffs, and I did post this information on the commissioner memo at the website. So just read through it. It's really quick information, but we're going to start our playoffs right after the All-Star break, we have that play-in tournament, and I have it all right here. It's under playoffs, so go check all this out right here, and you'll see how the playoffs work in this league. The reason I ended the season early is because I don't want anybody to be affected by losing players when teams in the NBA are shutting guys down because they're out of the running and they just don't want to risk injuries. It ruins the playoffs. So we're going to do our playoffs from late February and they're going to end in mid March. And each playoff series, except for the play in tournament, is a best of three series. And each game is a game period. So, you know how the game periods are, hopefully by now. One of them is Monday through Thursday, the other one is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're in a playoff series, game one, let's say it starts on the Monday, ends on Thursday, I'll post the box score for game one. Then the next game two would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Game three would then again be Monday through Thursday. If somebody wins two games, obviously that's over. So it's a sweep. And that's the way it works. Each playoff series that is a best of three will last 1.5 weeks. There is a salary liability cutoff date on the 6th of February. What that means is you will no longer be able to cut players at that point, and you are basically stuck where you are. So whatever cap money you're spending at that point, that's where you're at for the rest of the year. You can still go ahead and sign free agents if you have money, and that includes into the playoffs. So no problem there, but you won't be able to free up money by waiving players anymore after the 6th of February. Hopefully that makes sense. And these dates are far enough in the future to where we have plenty of time to keep readjusting our teams. I made this league the way I did because I wanted people to be able to change their teams a lot easier, and there'd be a lot of free agents. That's why there's only 12 teams. Last year there was only 10. But I felt like it kind of devalued a lot of players on rosters when there was only 10 teams. It was hard to make trades because there was always a viable option in free agency. So you wouldn't have to deal with another GM making a deal. So making it 12 teams this year kind of put more value on each player, but it still leaves a good enough player pool along with the salary cap. The fact that, you know, you have so much to spend, there's always going to be some decent options on the free agent market. You don't have to go out and find a trading partner to change your team in a meaningful way. You can go to the free agent market and trade with the free agent market. And that's what the salary cap allows us to do. So I hope that cleared up some mistakes here or some questions that we had today. William has been informed, you know, you can't drop below 12. That was my bad. I thought I had the settings right. I didn't realize this until he did that, and it was an honest mistake on William's part. But won't happen again because I just tried it with the Knicks and I wasn't able to waive a player. I finally got the settings just right. Jeez. Sorry about that. And other than that, I think I touched on this, but I just wanted to mention, you know, that you can raise your salary cap for the day of transactions, like on a Monday or Friday, temporarily. If you're looking to sign somebody, you don't have a player to offset their salary. So the system doesn't allow you to waive like four players and pick up one in a contingent type situation. You can't do that. You can only go one for one. Fantrax says they're going to change that one day possibly, but right now it's not possible. So what we have to do is we have to go in and just give you more cap space when you request it. Just send it through the text messages. We get that group text. You can always email me or text me personally. Post it on the website. I'm always keeping an eye on things, especially on transaction days. I think that's all I got. All right. Hopefully that clears everything up. And good luck this week. Oh, by the way, you know, remember the message forum. That's where your box scores are at. Period 8 has been posted. I did all the games this morning, so no more games until Friday at the earliest. Enjoy the game period. Enjoy the games, guys, and good luck to you. Talk to you later.